I felt better and better and better. Let's talk about it. Am I comfortable? Kind of. Am I uncomfortable? Kind of. Well, that's good then, isn't it? Right in the middle. Hey there, Amanda here. I am going to talk today about my experience of having had no alcohol for 536 days. For a very long time, I had said to myself, this no longer feels good in my body. I was getting all sorts of signals, and in 2000, I did not drink for around 2.5, 3 months, and then COVID happened, and a friend of mine said to me, how can you not be drinking? So I started drinking, and I talk about anyway. Fast forward to October 1st, 2023, I decided to do an experiment. So this was not something that I set out to do forever. It was an experiment. I decided, I was reading a book at the time, which I'll talk about a little later, and it was all about just doing an experiment with alcohol for 30 days, which felt really good to me because it didn't feel like forever, but as the 30 days progressed, I felt better and better and better. So basically, I feel like alcohol was keeping me quite stuck, and I feel very free in saying I no longer need or want alcohol in my life. And the great thing is too, I'm not judging anyone else for doing it. I just know for me, it didn't feel good in my body, and something felt like it had to happen. I just needed to break that cycle. And I am forever grateful to that 30-day challenge, that 30-day experiment, because it changed my life, literally. I want to point out here that I was not a huge drinker. I had spates of, drinking a lot when I was younger, but it was a couple of glasses of wine very regularly for sometimes 5 nights a week. And it got to a point where it just felt like my body was not able to get rid of the alcohol, and I wasn't living my best life, and I wasn't doing the things I wanted to be doing. Because here's the thing, habits are hard to break, but they can be broken. Very soon into the 30 days, I realised how much clearer I was feeling and how much less internal conflict was going on. I realised I was spending a lot of my days thinking about, oh, I'll have a drink tonight, and what am I going to drink, and I have to go and get it, and blah, 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 blah. And it was almost like a little treat at the end of the day, but it led to not getting a good sleep, having all this internal conflict. Should I have a drink? Shouldn't I have a drink? Maybe I'll have a night off. And then the aftermath was, oh, I just didn't feel good with alcohol in my body. Even 1 glass, 2 glasses just didn't feel good in my body. Some people can handle it. My body couldn't. And I guess what that led me to was a feeling of being aligned with who I am. I no longer had that procrastination going on, which felt great. I wasn't in this battle with myself about what I should and shouldn't do. I just didn't do the thing I didn't want to do. It didn't taste good for me anymore. The effects of it didn't feel good. And there was a big game changer that happened about 2 weeks into my experiment. A strength training program came on my radar with 2 people that I really highly respected and still do, and I still strength train today. That came on my radar, and so that kept me really accountable to not drinking at night, because I wanted to get up in the morning and be able to do the strength training program. What a game changer October 2023 was for me, because not only did I give the alcohol away, but I started strength training for life. I'm still doing it now. It feels super great in my body. I feel stronger than I've ever felt. So the first 2 things I've covered: mental health, clarity. The second one, physical health, and feeling stronger in my body and more relaxed. Super great. The third thing I want to talk about, probably everyone knows this one, waking up to go to the loo because you've had a couple of drinks at night. Not ideal. Now I might wake up one time a night. When I was drinking alcohol, I could wake up any number of times, 3 to 5 times sometimes. Ridiculous. And so I'd wake up feeling groggy. I'd wake up, grog, good joke. I would wake up feeling dull, like I hadn't had enough sleep, because when I'd wake up, I would wake up and think, oh, why did I have that drink? I have to go to the toilet. So it was like this perpetual cycle of thoughts going through my head, needing to go to the loo, not getting enough sleep, and then I'd do it all over again the next day. Now, I'm happy to say, one time a night, sometimes maybe two. My biggest kind of tipple at night might be a kombucha and a cup of tea. Yeah, and that feels good for me. That feels really, really great in my body. So we've got mental health, physical health, sleep. The fourth thing I want to talk about is confidence and anxiety. I had no idea how much I was relying on alcohol to give me a little Dutch courage in front of people. I better have a sip of my coffee, do you think? It's very nice. That's nice. So anyway, I didn't realise how much that I was relying on alcohol and how nervous I would get before social situations. Really interesting. So we were only a little way into this. I was only a little way into my 30-day experiment when we had a concert to go to. So if you're Australian and you go to concerts, you drink, and I didn't. And I was able to drive. I woke up the next day feeling great, but it was a really great opportunity. I would encourage everyone to do this once in a while. Go out and don't drink and notice what's going on. I had more fun not drinking than I would have had if I was dulling my brain that can't really cope with alcohol. I had the best night. It was super great. Stayed up until 2 a.m. dancing, having a hoot of a time. It made me realise that there was a bit of a cycle, and this was pointed out in the book, I'm going to mention, there was a bit of a cycle there, feeling anxious, drinking, drinking, feeling anxious. So I feel way more relaxed in social situations, which I love. This past Christmas was probably one of the best Christmases I've ever had as an adult and not drinking. I had fun with everyone. I didn't feel dulled down in my body by the alcohol, and I was able to get up the next day, every day, and go for a walk or do my practice or do my training, whatever I wanted to do. Super great, super great. So I guess the takeaways there are that I don't need alcohol to have fun, and I don't need alcohol to help me feel confident, because it wasn't really making me feel confident anyway. It was a ruse, an alcohol ruse. Now, so I just want to go back. Okay, so we got mental health, physical health, sleep, less anxiety, way more confidence. I just feel better about who I am, plain and simple. I'm just looking at my notes to make sure. Okay, here's where we get to the book part. So the book that I read was called The Alcohol Experiment by Annie Grace, and I would highly recommend it if you're thinking of maybe just taking a bit of time off alcohol, maybe looking at your relationship with alcohol. I love the way she writes. It was so helpful for me to be reading as I was going. It really gave me a little bit of support, a little bit of backbone to what I was doing. And it made so much sense in my life. What she was talking about, I could feel it viscerally in my body. So The Alcohol Experiment by Annie Grace. Since I'm not drinking, I feel like my relationships have gotten better. And I think that's because I feel happier. I feel happier in myself, so that rolls out into other people. Better relationships, clearer boundaries, enjoying life more. Yeah. A couple of extra things that I notice: more money, more creativity, more ideas coming through, and way more energy. Three bangers right there. Three bangers. So, my decision now to live alcohol free is easy. I don't feel any internal struggle at all. I love how I feel. I love how I wake up feeling energized every day. And I love the example that I'm setting for my kids. I feel like that's really great, especially in Australia, where we've got this culture, that a very strong drinking culture. Um, I feel like it's a great opportunity for my kids who are in their 20s to explore trying that out for themselves and seeing what that feels like. And yeah, I just feel like that's a really good example for me to set. I feel very pleased about that. Pleased and good. It feels good for me to share that with my kids. My final thought here is I want to leave you with one of my favourite quotes of all time from Viktor Frankl, and I'll make sure I read it so I don't miss out any words. Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space lies our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. I feel those words so strongly. In that space between deciding to have that drink or not is definitely, that was where my growth and my freedom was laying each and every time I made a choice. And I'm happy to say that 536 days later, here I am, feeling great, feeling energized, feeling creative. My life feels so much better than it felt 536 or 37 days ago. And so what I'm here to say is this is an opportunity to not give up alcohol, but an opportunity to look at our relationship with alcohol, how it began. You know, I'm in Australia, drinking culture, very strong. Didn't grow up with a strong family drinking culture, but the overarching culture strong, and socially it felt very acceptable to drink, more than acceptable. It was a must to drink. And I've heard some people say, don't trust a person that doesn't drink. What a lot of baloney here is. I hope you enjoyed that. If it was of value, if it was helpful, if you liked it, a thumbs up maybe. If you'd like to subscribe, feel free. I hope to make more of these videos. Maybe I'll get more and more comfortable with sitting in front of the camera and talking. If you'd like to share it, and if you'd like to make a comment below, I'd be really interested to hear. Have you read that book? The Alcohol Experiment. She's got another book, This Naked Mind, which is really good as well. Yeah, let me know how you're doing, what you're trying out in your own life, and that might be of help or service to somebody who is reading the comments below. Share yourself, share your light. There's that little pause between stimulus and response, and we get to choose. Thank you for being here. If you've listened this far, thank you for being here, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now. Take good care.